So the jail's 182 years old this year. So it opened in 1841 and closed in 1988. We had around 300,000 prisoners here, and that included men, women and children. There were 45 executions on site. They were all by hanging, and all those people are still buried here.
First impressions of Adelaide Gaol are fairly forebounding, but you find there's an atmosphere that grows on you. The first governor, William Baker Ashton, was reportedly very kind, and the jail was nicknamed Ashton's Hotel. When SA was settled in 1836, it was Australia's first colony established without convict labour. The free settlers were assumed to be of pure character. That optimism was short-lived, however, and it was soon obvious that not everyone was a law-abiding citizen. As well as imprisonment, some prisoners got whippings with a cat o' nine tails for certain offences, while under 18s got the cane or birch. Initially, those condemned were hung publicly outside the Adelaide Gaol, then carried out privately within the confines of the jail until 1976, when the death sentence was changed to life imprisonment. Tattooing using ingenious devices by the prisoners has a long tradition. Once entering the prison system, people became marked for life, done out of an intense feeling of boredom. Knives, weapons, drugs, and illicit objects were among the common contraband items that prisoners had in their possessions. There is a genuine sense of history as you wander around and look in on the original cell blocks. It is hard to believe you are so close to the city, such is the quiet and feeling of isolation once you are behind the walls. There are a couple of tall ships etched into the brick, and it does make you think what the prisoners were thinking when etching away. The original artwork on some of the walls, painted by a few of the prisoners who inhabited the jail, can be seen. Isolated cells, slate floors, it must have been very soul-destroying for the prisoners to be shut up in their gloomy, dark cells. Just trying to put yourself in an inmate's position and imagining how they passed the time during their sentence was mind-numbing. Sending the colony into debt, the original plans were altered with costly medieval architecture, including the sculptured faces around the tower windows and the stonework. You can easily see where the us versus them mentality is fostered in the architecture and adapted uses of the building. Governor Ashton allowed concerts and religious services and helped many prisoners when they were being released. The jail was well constructed to keep the prisoners in. The corners were curved so the inmates could not climb out. Loose bricks in a honeycomb pattern were placed on top of the walls, so if a prisoner attempted to escape, the guards would hear the bricks falling. One inmate writes, "Another whole month before I find out if someone's coming to see me." The hanging of Elizabeth Woolcock is truly fascinating. An extremely touching moment is reading her letter she wrote before her execution, where she spelled out in detail why she poisoned her husband. There was poor sanitation, rats, insects, and harsh conditions. There were lots of diseases, and many prisoners never recovered. Outside, the prisoners who were put to death are buried in between the walls with only their initials and execution date marked on the wall. You can visit each grave and read why they were put to death. The hanging tower still holds an eerie feeling, imagining the trapdoor as the last place many of the inmates stood. The trapdoor and noose hook still remain. The prisoners would spend their final 2 hours contemplating their fate before meeting the hooded executioner who would pull the lever and let his victim swing for a full 60 minutes, ending their life. A must-visit of the relic of days gone by when incarceration was considered the correct form of punishment. Yes, it is stark, but one must remember the penalty need fit the crime.